First thing to do when trimming up the perch is going to be to level out the legs. So I'm going to use this compass to mark an even line that uses the tabletop as a reference on each of the legs. Now I'm going to go ahead and saw to the line. It's very helpful because I can use the tabletop as a reference, and as long as I hold my saw parallel to it, I can rest assured that I'm going to follow my line pretty nicely. I only saw part of the way through that first leg. That way the whole piece isn't wobbling. That's much more important, obviously, on pieces that have 4 legs than 3. 3 is never going to wobble. Now I'll go back and finish cutting that first leg. I take my spoke shave. You can do this with a chisel as well. I'm just going to put a slight chamfer in it, which is going to help me a lot with the next step. A little wax on an upside down plane does a real nice job of flattening out the bottoms of these legs very precisely. It's important to go at a diagonal. I set the lead part of that blade that I touch first a little bit lighter than the other side. I skew it just slightly. That really helps the cut proceed. And now to clean up those chamfers, make sure they're all even again. Now I'll trim off the tops of the protruding legs. The little flush cut saw that I use here is great, although I don't use it actually flush to the surface. I leave them about 1/8 of an inch proud. Wax really helps on these thin saws. I'm going to come through with a number 8 chisel. This is just to show you the body position I'm using. Very comfortable way to go and trim these tenons. You'll notice here I'm always driving towards the center of that protruding tenon. If I was to keep going all the way across it, it's a real good chance that I'd break out the fibers, and they'd break beneath the surface, and then I'd have to dig in to get to them. This way, every cut is actually supported by the fibers that are ahead of it. As the material becomes less and less protruding, I'm going to be able to go all the way across it and not worry about it breaking out. And then I'll come in with a nice flat, sharp chisel. And with a nice slicing cut, once again you can see that body position, I'm going to slice across there and bring it right down to the surface level with the pine, or just a hair beneath it. Now a line about 5/8 of an inch down from that flat we left on the back is going to help this next step. It's really all the layout we're going to need. I like to use my large spoke shave here. It really hogs off the material and starts this chamfer. It's not going to be a flat chamfer, but a slightly rounded one. Making sure to follow the grain direction to prevent any heavy tear out. And I'll come in and clean it up a bit on the top surface and start to diminish that very chamfer we just established so that the lines all converge nicely. You'll see what I'm talking about right here. The pencil's following the line of that rear chamfer as it converges down and joins up with the line along the front. I'll clean this up further with a finer spoke shave. Here I'm just cleaning up that last little bit on the top. This is after the rough shaping has all been done on that side. You can see how the lines nicely converge. Now it's time to take care of that flat we left on the front of the seat. Once again with the spoke shave, I'm just going to gently round that over. I like to continue that fluid line that comes from around the back all the way along the front. You'll see here, I'll darken it with the pencil. And it gives you a nice view of exactly how that line flows. Then it's time to finish it off with the scrapers on the top. Scrapers cut this pine really nicely. I only just scuff it very slightly with 220 grit sandpaper after this. That's as far as I go. It's real important to do a very thorough scraping job. In the concave areas of the seat, I use a curved scraper. And then I use a flat one on the convex surfaces. And like most folks, I can scrape all day.